I think you'll have fully understood by now that this speaker, this person, whatever you make of me, is about, you see, storytelling, you see. Storytelling. So I'm going to make up a story, a genuine true story about this experience of this coming and going mind that we are talking from, that we think we are, that we depend upon but we hate and we like, and we want to get rid of it but we want to keep it. So I made up a story basically in a more primitive, not like these gifted speakers of, you know, obviously very educated and very connected to specific things in their life. So the story is about the disconnection, the reconnection, and then the what you would call the true teaching, the Sermon on the Hill. That I think it was a sermon that Christ spoke to the people. So the story up to the sermon, you see. When you awaken, you see, when this mind awakened, when this mind dissolved, when this depression reached a point of no return, you see, it's either me or the body, says the mind. Unfortunately, this, let's call it the spirit, intervenes and says, I'm not going to use the word consciousness. It's difficult for the ego mind to get a grasp of. So let's call it the spirit intervenes. And the spirit is emptiness, because you are empty, you see. There's no more you. The awakening is when the dissolution of me, the person, the identity, everything, the information, the past, the future, the history, the knowledge, the conditioning, the program stuff, the brain is empty, you see. But there's an experience of whatever you are as emptiness. So the awakening takes place. So the emptiness, the spirit comes, intervenes, and creates this empty space between it and you. So there's no space between it and you, because you're really one with the spirit. Now, the spirit says, basically, didn't speak, but I'm making a story out of it. The spirit says, okay, now, look at your life before. Your life before and all its contents. Look at what it was, where you were born, the parents you were born to, the country, your type of, your personality, your culture, your information, your knowledge. And don't make anything of it as yet. But whatever happened, something was not happy with this. This is the spirit still speaking. Whatever happened to you, something was not happy. It wanted to change. It wanted to adapt some other type of lifestyle or life existence or relationships or whatever, you know. And we know that's what brought you to this point of darkness. So therefore I intervene. So what I'm going to do now, says Spirit, I'm going to show you the other side, okay? The other side, which is part of the human being, you see. You've been engaging with your human for the whole of your life. You know, you have little snippets of wondering about you know, where you come from, but you didn't dwell on it. You see, you didn't dwell on it. You tried. You were going, I would say, very okay. But something shifted. You see, something shifted, and you started seeking for some things that were not really part of the reason that you're here. Now we've overcame that depression, that anxiety. I want to show you the being side, okay? I want to show you the being side. So we're going to move from this emptiness. So me and you are now going to move into this spirit, your spirit. And we'll see each other slightly differently. But we won't be looking at each other. We'll be looking at your new life. The possibility of the other side, you see, that you've been missing. And now you go into this spirit, into this unbelievable Sat Chit Ananda, pure enlightenment, where there's no fears, there's no worries, there's no death, there's no birth. You know, I'm a storyteller, but I don't exaggerate and say it was like heaven and paradise. It's not, you know. It's an essence. There's only the essence of life. You see, there's the minuscule essence where there's no real essence, and you depend upon the senses. And then when you move into the other side, you know, deep sleep is an example, but it's not the truth. You see, deep sleep is just a state of the mind to protect the body. So it's not deep sleep, you know. But the senses disappear. Unlike in deep sleep, there are no senses. But it's a higher state than deep sleep, because there's a knowing that I am existing as this. In deep sleep, you don't know you're existing as this. Deep sleep. So this other side, there's a sensation, an essence of love, an essence of beingness, an essence of, and this spirit says, look, let's go and see what this is all about. Like, let's go. We can't go into the Father's door, but we can take you to the door, you know, and we can, and on this journey of what they call now, enlightenment or Satori, I don't know what it is. It is absolute pure joy. It is the most profound, tranquil, and loving state. And this spirit shows you how this universe was started. It shows you what God is and how life started. But the spirit says you'll never be able to explain this profoundly, accurately, and directly. But you can make many attempts, as others have in the past. But silence is the best way to describe what it is, you know. So now you're on this other side and you're traveling along with this spirit, and it's just, you know, there's nothing to worry about. You know, your body is still actively going to work, but it doesn't know. You don't know you're working. You don't know you're driving your car. You don't know what you're doing. And you could say it could be quite a dangerous position, but the spirit is making sure that everything is going your way to see this through. You see, you don't become superior and say, well, I can do anything in life now and everything's going to be okay. You know, the spirit doesn't stay with you. You know, but we'll come to that in one moment. So I spent this I that didn't know who I was, didn't know what anything was, but just relished in this magnificent, mysterious magnitude of love. I don't know, for 7-9 years. And then Spirit says, that's enough, you know. You get to the door of God. God shouts through, right? That shock that many spiritual seekers enlightened beings say. And God says, that's it, you're at the door, get back. Time over, time up, time up. So then, Spirit starts letting go of you. And you return. It's like coming out of that dream, you see. So the initial dream was a dream of what we call the human dream. And then the second dream is the dream of that what is truly being. Being means there's only being. There's not a being. There is just being. There is just living. So you now have to, slowly come out of that dream. And as you come out of that dream, Spirit lets you down on this rope and you get further and further and further away. And then you start sharing and speaking, and then you start trying to come to terms with whatever it was, and you have to let go. You see, you have to let go of enlightenment. Let go of your Satori. You have to let go of Spirit. And then another 7 years. Another 7 years of letting go of enlightenment and trying to get your feet back on the ground, you see. Come back into this human state. And then the sermon. So, you don't want to let go of this enlightenment. Something wants to hang on to it. But the sermon comes. And then this Spirit now appears as a form, as Christ. So start not knowing Christ, apart from the stories, apart from the movies, the books, the Bible, to experiencing emptiness. Christ appearing as emptiness. And then appearing as Spirit. And now appearing as form. Now, this form is not in front of you, you see. This is a knowing. You see, we all know the process before we take on any life form. We all know the process. We all know the possibilities. We all know the boundaries. We all know the fears. We all know what's going to take place. We all know how it's going to take place. So we're reliving the dream, and the dream is reliving the previous dream, and the previous dream is reliving the previous dream before that, and on and on and on. So there are dreams within dreams within dreams. You know, when you make a bath of water, soapy water, and the bubbles start disintegrating. Each bubble is a dream. But you get out long before all the dreams, all the bubbles pop. Otherwise you'll freeze to death. So we're never out of the dream, you see. We always go back into the bath when it's full of bubbles again. And we can watch the bubbles pop. And we can watch them slowly disintegrate. And that's what's really taking place. So the sermon, let's say the sermon on the couch. Christ says, so, now you've tasted both sides. What is it that you've learned? See? And it's quite, there's a possible you just saying, well, I learned just a little. He says, you learned a little from a mind full of incredible experiences before, and the wisdom of God's capabilities next, and you return here and say you only learned a little. I said, I learned that human is necessary, that being is never not here. So the human is temporary, but the being is infinite. And when they two meet with that meager, godly mind, I learned not to err for either of these ways, but to stay simple, to stay grateful, to stay content. And that both of these ways are a type of needfulness to get back to the place that we truly live from the heart of that God. And Christ says, so what is the heart of God? Just knowing God and being here representing God for what it is. And Christ says, so what does God represent and what is it? It's just gratitude for being alive, for being able to know I'm alive, to know God is alive, and to now know that you are alive. Christ says, now you can read the Bible and see what I'm about. I'm not about the Son of God, like they say, although I am, but I'm not preaching that. I'm showing humans how to be, and beings how to live as humans. I gave 5,000 people bread, fish, and wine. Very simple and basic, to make do and just be ample and grateful for that meager and meek amount of food that you need for your body to maintain its position on this earth. Now you'll see from this cross about the greed that you maybe once participated in. And you'll see how desperate people are to go to the other side, because they can't cope with this power, this greed, this what they call 7 deadly sins. Now, Christ says, you know what? I say, yes, I know. He said, what? I said, yeah, I know that both of these sides, they don't exist. They're just desires. I'm not human. I'm not being. I'm that. Christ says, that what? I say, I don't know what that is. But that's what I appear to be here as. An image of that, what it is. And everything, when I look at this, everything is as it is. I know from this human form that we both are speaking from now, that there is all these conditioned, programmed, and mindful, and mindless, and horrific, and beautiful ways. And I know on the other side that there is peace, tranquility, and bliss. But this bliss also is a form of depression. There is only now. The moment God spoke, the words, one moment. All that is needed to be clear became clear. Everything is here and now. Everything is one. Everything is holy. Everything is whole. I waited for Christ's answer. Opened my eyes, and he was gone. Laughing, smiling, sending a message to the Father. That one's okay. He's not the greatest. He's not the meekest. He's centered. It's okay. We can move on. That's a sermon. Nothing more to say about the past. Nothing more to say about the other side. Nothing more to say about me, the person. Nothing more to say about religion, Christ, consciousness, spirituality, religion, atheism, words, identities, beliefs, hopes, attachments, associations, desires, needs, wants, opposition, division, competition, judgment, measurement, analysis, evaluation. The sermon's over. I hope you enjoy the story. It goes on, but it's never not here. It's never not appearing as Hereness until the body goes. Hereness goes, and here I remains. Namaste Om. Praise to the Lord.